Good evening, Kenya. This is Kenya News Alert and I'm your host, Zulfa. Karibuni sana kwenye show yetu mwafaka ya jioni, ilo ya mwisho, and then tupeleke mtoto shule. Okay? Leo tarehe 19 ya mwezi wa pili mwaka huu wa 2025. Karibuni sana. Sana. Mtoto.
Mimi ni mtoto sana vile. I'm not that children. I'm still a good big boy. So hello everyone. It's me, the student again. I handled the matter. So nikuende tu shule, and but saizi niko hapa sina haraka. I'm with you, tuko pamoja. Yeah, until I am with us. Yes, I am with us. Yeah, mpaka tumalize. How have you been? I hope I missed you, by the way. But right now we have consulted with my wife, so when walikuwa nadhani watanigongea. Not happening, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. So yeah, that is that.
Mapenzi.
Yes. Hello, good afternoon. This is Prince and Felix, and I welcome you back to the show.
Darling, please take us through that.
Okay. So in top news, our top news today, we are told that His Excellency, the president, the best president Kenya has ever had since I don't know independence and before, has Ruto allows Sudan's militia to form parallel government in Nairobi. Sudan's brutal 2-year-long civil war. Sudan's brutal 2-year-long civil war is reaching a new flashpoint with rival factions expected to announce parallel government in a move that could further entrench the conflict. At the Kenya International Convention Center in Nairobi, delegates representing various Sudanese political entities are gathering to sign the funding charter of a new peace and unity government aligned with the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. The alliance includes a faction of the opposition National Umma Party, several armed groups, and former members of Sudan's civil government. The civil war, which erupted in April 2023 during Ramadan, has pitted the Sudanese Armed Forces (SAF), led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, against the RSF commanded by Janjaweed leader Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo.
Hamdan.
No, the Dagalo name. Kuna mali nishisikia Dagalo name.
In fact, kuna Mohamed Gichuge, so it's good. It says a religion.
Widely known as Emeti. Kenya's role as a mediator in Sudan's crisis has increasingly come under scrutiny, especially in light of its broader diplomatic setbacks on the continent. The African Union's batting, leaving Kenya's diplomatic ambitions hanging in the balance. So, Zulfa, that is that. It should be a win-win for us, but it's something that we don't want to talk about. Because
why would he invite those people here? Now Namuliza Bwana Felix, and then why do you think that this person would invite a militia group here ambayo imeshinda watu wa kwao, analeta sasa
future promises. that you know we will do this and we will do that when we take power. People from our whatever we provide you with money, we will give you for free for several
as long as
years.
you let us operate here.
Yeah, let us operate here.
And that is nasty.
Very, it's a very bad game.
When you get in bed,
You know what?
yes,
Wherever maybe my fellow Kenyans you are watching me from, the fact is this: if possible, mkijua mahali ya watu wako, enda muwafukuze. Yani wafukuzwe. Unajua raia wakiwaendea hawezi huwa raia wetu in our own country. Inawezekana?
inawezekana. They are
they can.
folders. Walikuja kwa country wakachukua nini? Wakachukua the chiefs in where? Shugana.
Yeah,
Last week.
yeah.
Yeah. So hao watu huwezi waekea kitu fulani ati hawezi fanya. Tumekuwa na attacks ngapi za our terrorists in this place? Many attacks. Si ndio? So wajua mtu ambaye that anadili na watu ambao wanaenda IC, whatever, kuna ICC.
Yeah, ICC.
Anadili na wao. That is a person that has no regard for human life. They don't care at all.
Sasa shwali akiwacha tu ikwe rumors.
See on Sundays when they came, mama.
Yeah, wako huku my dear.
Wako huko already na si rumors.
Yeah, they are here, they are not even moving, they are having.
In fact, nimekusomea nikakwambia kuna post ambayo kuna post I was sent by my informer. So they said that some other Somalia people, gunmen walionekana wakitoka wapi, wakivuka border because Mr. President felt that hizo ideas vile si lazima, aliwapea ruhusa ya kuingia, so wanaingia tu. In fact right now it's like when a vampire, you invite a vampire into your place, all you have to say is welcome. And then all vampires swarm into your place.
This is something else. Act of hostility. Sudan calls out Kenya for hosting RSF group. So Sudan is calling Kenya hostile. The Sudan government has condemned Kenya for hosting the paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces, RSF, terming it as a blatant disregard for its obligation under international law. The RSF forces, a group fighting against the Sudanese army for power, held an event in Nairobi on Tuesday, that is yesterday, with the talks involving around the formation of a parallel government in RSF-controlled areas. In a statement, Sudan's Ministry for Foreign Affairs warned that such a move dismembers the African states and violates its sovereignty by interfering in its internal affairs. And I quote, "This is therefore a clear breach of the United Nations Charter, the constitutive act of the African Union, and the established principles of the contemporary international order." The statement read in part, the Sudan government blamed RSF for the ongoing acts of war in the country and noted that Kenya rolling the red carpet for RSF forces to conduct its operations is an act of endorsement of the heinous crimes the group reported commits.
Umemaliza kusoma ndugu?
Kiasi, the last part.
Okay.
Hosting leaders of the terrorists. Those are not my words. Hosting leaders of the terrorist RSF militia and allowing them to conduct political and propaganda activities while they continue to perpetrate genocide, massacre civilians on an ethnic basis, attack IDP camps, and commit acts of rape constitutes endorsement of and complicity in these heinous crimes, the ministry stated. So you can imagine.
But then why would he host them here? Why would he host them here? Felix, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
I was not saying, but I was trying to ask you a reminding question. My friends, tangu muzaliwe mumewahi sikia like Kenya imewahi pokea ma criminals to the country? Sasa inafikaje hadi tunakuja kuna kitu yenye let me send you something here utusome juu niliona na strain sana kusoma maandishi yana kama yeah. Ni ziko lakini sasa ni kama nitaongezea zingine. Let me send you this,
You're sending it to Lewis? Not to me.
I think even it can work.
Awesome.
Zulfa,
yes?
It is totally unfortunate and it is not pleasing at all by accepting criminals in the country. Manze, watu wanaelewa lakini ile kala ya flag yetu.
Come to Upper Felix, like where you live, so you had in the next house that someone has just murdered children and raped a mother there, so and killed the father, and then you bring them to your place and you're like, tunataka kubonga. Munabonga nini? Munabonga nini?
You know, like terrorists. Munabonga nini na terrorists? Because
you do not negotiate.
People, mtu mwenye ana make sure anaacha watu wa kwao warepiwe, mtu mwenye anarepu watu wa kwao. How do you know that hapa kwetu they will not start doing the same? How do you know that hapa kwetu they will not start doing the same? We have housed them.
Make a deal with the devil, we'll make the deal with the devil. Sawa, you're in bed with him now. So in the Republic of Sudan, sawa, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Office of the Spokesman,
Spokesman.
No. Spokesperson and media directorates. This is press statement. So this is guapa. Then I start in 20 whatever 20 something. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs regrets the Kenyan government disregard for its obligations under international law, the Charter of United Nations, the punishment of the crime of genocide by hosting the event of signing a so-called political agreement between the terrorists Janjaweed militia responsible for ongoing acts of genocide in Sudan, Sawa, and its affiliated individuals and groups. Given that the stated objective of this agreement is to establish a parallel government on parts of Sudanese territory.
But like how do these people manage to do that? How do they manage to capture like small places?
Let me read this first and then you ask me that again.
Yes.
Okay. So this move promotes the dismembering of African states, violates the sovereignty and interferes in their internal affairs. This is therefore a clear breach of the UN Charter.
UN Charter.
Yes, Sindio? The Constitutive Act of African Union and the established principles of the contemporary international order. Furthermore, hosting leaders of the terrorist RSF militia and allowing them to conduct political and propaganda activities while they continue to perpetrate genocide. Massacre civilians on an ethnic basis, attack IDP camps, and commit acts of rape constitutes an endorsement of and complicity in these heinous crimes. Actually, that one inatunia hapo, inatuimplicate into all that.
Kabisa, yeah.
Because why you support, when you call these people to your place, you're supporting this, sindio? And then there's equally this action by the Kenyan government not only violates the principles of good neighborliness, but also contravenes the pledges Kenya has made at the highest levels not to allow hostile activities against Sudan to be carried out on its soil.
Definitely. Hapa kwetu.
Hapa. No, we are allowing it right now.
Hapa.
We are allowing it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, it is therefore tantamount to an act of hostility against the entire Sudanese people. Right now, I don't know, they're declaring war. After they start killing our people there. We have already declared war.
Yeah.
Sindio?
Yeah. They
So,
can choose to massacre our people. They can choose to slaughter them in broad daylight, in cameras all around, and nothing.
because you already declared
Yeah.
war. You promise that you're never going to allow anything that inafanya hivyo to happen in your place, but you yourself call these people. Let us continue. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs affirms that this propaganda stand will have no impact on the ground, as the Sudanese armed forces, along with the joint and the supporting forces backed by the Sudanese people, remain resolute in their determination to liberate every inch of Sudanese territory desecrated by the terrorist militia and its foreign mercenaries. Their swift and continuous progress towards this goal remains unabated. Sindio?
Yeah.
And unabated.
Unabated.
While the ministry calls on the international community to condemn this hostile act by Kenyan government. Sawa?
Kenyan government.
Yasema Ruto's government. Kenyan
Government.
So it is the entire Kenya now.
Yeah. Right
Sawa.
now, sisi wote, we are in that, we are in the same, we are all categorized as traitors of Africa.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
So inasema ya kwamba while this ministry calls on the international community to condemn this hostile act by the Kenyan government, it affirms that it will take all necessary measures to redress the balance. Issued on Tuesday, February 18th, 2025, and that is the Sudanese government. That is an official statement that they have declared war.
They have declared war on Kenya. You know,
because why? Because our president is so kind.
Yeah, he
So
has a
kind.
very big, beautiful heart,
That he calls the militia
and he gives them refuge.
in our place.
Imagine. That is why, with my big, beautiful heart as a PS, I can be great, can do good things for this country. So this goes to our president. Do not let the war that has been declared come to us. Have mercy. Pity these people. Because, like, how will you feel watu wetu wakiuliwa huko? How will you feel watu wetu wakiuliwa in Sudan? They have declared war. It's now, we are now, God, may God have mercy. So, Felix, what do you think about the war?
Okay, so we clearly we can see that that Felix is so upset, Sawa, and everyone is upset because Naka, I'm rereading the statement here, I'm rereading everything that nasikiza up, and I'm like, why would you do that? Why, kwani bwana president anafikiriaje? What was the reason actually for them coming here? Wow. People, I will take this away from me.
Zulfa,
Yes.
I'm thinking about the situation whereby we have never experiencing having any militia and other other evil people in our land. Sawa? But leaders who are in the government are now the people who are bringing them. So meaning ile life yenye Somalia wamekuwa wakiishi, sawa? Hawaoni. You will never be a friend to an enemy.
Hawa nasema hawa tumile kitu ya the enemy of my enemy.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
But we're not enemies with Sudan, am we?
No.
Mimi sijaisikia any clash with
Sasa Sudan imezaliwa na Kenya. So what's up?
Ni South Sudan ninajaribu kuzungumzia ni Sudan. The other Sudan.
Sudan imezaliwa na Kenya.
Haki siku naomba tu rais mahali yako address watu waambie chenye kinaendelea, right?
Yes.
Yeah, President Uhuru God, why am I so...
Tulikuwa tunampenda sana bro. Yule hata alikuwa sura ya Kenya, si ndio?
Yeah, President William Samoei Ruto, my good and personal, very great friend. Please, address these people because we have so many questions. We do not have answers. But once you stand on the podium and say something, at least we'll have some few answers and lots of questions for you. First question, why? Why have you done that? Is there any enmity between us and Sudan? Why house the rebels?
The enemy.
Yeah. So please answer us.
What is the main reason? What is the main reason of welcoming those people in our own country?
I think the main reason, I can't speak for the government, but whatever it may be, the government has a good reason for it. So for me, I can't say that there is a specific reason because currently the state has not given any remarks. It has not said anything. It has not confirmed, neither denied.
Uski hadi jeshi waliletewa system inasema pay as you eat.
Aki wala hiyo kitu inauma hao watu. Aki,
by the way, sisi wasianze kutusumbulia mapolisi.
I salute those soldiers.
No, si polisi.
Si polisi. Nani akina so nani? I'm talking about the defense forces, like
forces wanapay as we that. Huyu mtu mnafaa kwa mnampea vile namfikiri. This person is the reason why akujaingia watu huko. These people Kenya, I say Kenya Defense what?
Forces.
Kenya Defense
like
sasa wakianza kutreat surely jeshi hivyo. I'm questioning you guys. If this is my question.
Yes,
just with that.
This is my question, my sister, and Lewis.
Yes.
Siku ubaya. Do you know why Congo Defense Force is so weak? It is because it is not well taken care of. Let me tell you the truth, bro. The moment unalisha mbwa vizuri, kwanza the moment unalisha mbwa vizuri, sawa? Unaenda kwa mahoteli unanunua those remains, right? Mama supu nini na hizo vitu unanunua, nyama hizi zinapikwa vizuri wanakula hapo bro. Unapata kunangu bro, akibweka unaweza dhani ni simba amefugwa hapo ndani.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The moment mnaanza ku weaken our forces, that will be the moment you are weakening the country.
Yeah, it's true.
Bro, I want you to okay, let me do this, Let me play a Kenyan flag. Uniambie vile inaonekana, inafaa kuonekana na hizo vitu zenye zimeanza kufanyika. Let me just play even that footage yenye ilikuwa na hiyo nini. Right?
Yeah.
Uniambie bro, where is it? Let me see. Yeah, there it is. Kuna flag hapo. Fikirieni na mimi. I want to naomba muweke mawazo yangu yawe pamoja, yani mawazo yenu yawe pamoja na yangu. I want you to look at that flag, bro. When you look at that flag, what comes in your mind?
When I look at our flag, the first thing that comes to my mind is the fact that As a Kenyan, I have an obligation to my country to protect it no matter what, keep it safe from outsiders who want to destroy this beautiful nation. You know? There is that singer who sang and said, Ewe Kenya mama yangu, ewe Kenya baba yangu, sitakuacha milele.
Aliacha?
No, he never left. He just
He's still there?
yeah, he's still there.
Oh.
Yeah, he is still here in Kenya. And there is a part of the song that says, adui zako sijui wanakufanya nini sijui uko. Yeah. If they fought
But
there.
if you put that song, utapigwa a strike.
Yeah.
Oh.
The song of Ewe Kenya mama yangu.
You would.
Why?
It is a Kenyan song.
It is a Kenyan song.
No, it is an individual song. It is an individual
Either way,
song.
ewe
Okay.
Kenya mama
Yeah.
yangu.
Sitakuacha milele. Adui zako wakikuona we. Wanataka siji something. Yeah, something or another. My point is, Kenyans, we love our country. And our country loves you. This, we all have an obligation to protect it from enemies. Protect it from evil eyes. Protect this country from any evil forces that might want to do harm to this country.
And we are
the ones
we are gonna
inviting.
protect it.
We are in while inviting the nini. The
No,
enemies.
we actually now are talking maybe that they don't care.
It is not good. It is not fair. It is not fair what we are exposing this country to.
Mimi, okay, according to my wish, nilikuwa naomba, okay, let's assume that this is rumors. These are just rumors, right? Watch a President Ruto, if possible,
Yeah.
take consideration this issue, if possible, before ikwe worse, ama maybe hata unaweza pata watu wako in the country bila kujua. Let me ask you, si niliona ameenda kule Mandera akisema like pia mimi niko hapa na sitoki hapa silali hapa.
Yeah.
Who are those people? Was the president addressing? Are they the same people?
I think so.
Zulfa,
Yes?
kuna siku yenye I think the chiefs walikuwa abducted.
Yeah, na agachia that responsibility the elders of that place.
Alikuwa are they the same people?
No. Al-Shabaab are different. This militia are different.
Yeah.
They're not the same person.
Oh.
But they were acts of terrorism. What?
Lewis. Huh?
Now, as we do that,
Yeah.
as we speak about that, kuna bili ambayo inapasiwa. Bili ya niambie kakamu.
How to equally distribute the funds.
Yes.
In the 47 counties,
Yes.
290 or above constituents, and over 300, over 1,000 sub-constituents or whatever they are, those led by MCAs. Yeah. So money should be given, handed, 1 shilling, 1 man. That is how it should be, and that is what the Senate is doing right now. Congratulations to our Senate. If that bill passes, wonderful.
So if we would ask our dear esteemed producer atupeleke huko, so we
Yeah.
see that tukue na wale pale bungeni.
Wacha tu assume like ilikuwa rumors, si ndio? Hiyo kitu hapana hiyo. Hiyo ina at break.
But it is not rumors. Ukienda government ya Sudan ishatoa mpaka
Yeah.
press. It is not. It is true, they are here.
Mpaka ikapeana nini? Warning that it might engage in an unpleasant moment with our beloved Kenya, with our beloved motherland. No. Oh, may God have mercy on our souls, because right now Can you imagine Zulfa? Umekaa tu hivi and then shui boom.
Ujinga.
Bomu imeachiliwa.
Shetani ashinde.
Nani ameachilia? Sudan.
Hapa studio.
Imagine.
Live.
Alafu malikia wangu nishtuketi hiyo films. Hizo films malikia amenihela. Nitaenda Mansolo.
Fiti. Oroshima siku moja alikuwa ametulia tu. Sawa? And then
wewe wacha kufanya hivyo.
Yeah, why?
Wacha kufanya hivyo. Mnaniogopesha bana. Unajua, let me tell you
what happens when countries have war. Ask Israel and Gaza. Ask, I don't know, Ukraine and Russia. Those are what happens when countries have war. And right now Kenya is on the verge of that war.
Wataanza kuattack wapi sasa?
See, they start from the closest place.
They start from
the closest place.
No, they start kwa capital.
Wanakuja mpaka capital. But see, there are missiles you can aim somewhere. Ikiwa hapa, I can aim a missile to
anywhere. Unasema CBD.
And then CBD.
Coordinates too, and then CBD.
What the?
Hiroshima was just that way, sawa, and then you don't watch it. That very toxic thing that in a travel, when it is released in a travel back to nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
It was but they don't. Sudan are not nuclear bomb. So
they might ask.
They don't. North Korea.
No,
North
Korea
and America, the superpowers. I think North Korea, China, I don't know, but they obviously wanaweza kuwa nayo, sawa? US wako nazo, ndio walikuwa huko Hiroshima, si ndio? So the nuclear bomb itatufikia mpaka sisi. Hiyo wave. Unataka unakaa chini huko?
Kukuta.
I had this boyfriend that was so obsessed with this thing that right now I know like how to defend myself just in case. So let us go to the parliament.
Your discussion yenu mimi siipendi though.
Sasa tufanye tutakuelezea venye kuko. Let me tell you, go tell your malkia there, sawa? Ajitayarisha. Hivyo ndo kuko. Right now the decision that our president and elect can make one by one. Haya nuclear bomb soon.
Malkia, wherever you are, stay safe, please. Stay safe. Najaribu nikikumbuka like you are the face of this country, Kenya. Anyway.
Can he substantiate and provide evidence before this House that Honorable Raila and Honorable Ruto have been involved in looting? Madam Speaker, I think we cannot allow these kind of things to go on. I know the narrative is trying to spread, but we in ODM are not going to allow our leader to be scandalized just because he stood for the position of AU and he lost. Many other Kenyans would have done that, Madam Speaker, who are not necessarily in government.
Senator Karungo Dangwa, when you make a serious allegation, it's your responsibility, understanding Order 105, to substantiate your claim or allegation. Can you proceed to substantiate?
Yes, Madam Speaker, you know Senator Sotsi, who is my former chair at CIPIC, is also holding a very big seat at ODM. And he is questioning that Raila Odinga is not holding any office in government. Yet his party has fronted some big CSs who are holding big ministries, like the budgets, like the finance, treasury, Madam Speaker. Today as we speak, we have been whipped, all the chairs, and especially from Mount Kenya. And they are going to ODM again, Madam Speaker. So, and when he stands here to ask me, they are now part of the broad-based, what I call the bread-based government, Madam Speaker. Because it is their time to eat. It is their time to eat. But they should do so, knowing that Kenyans are watching, Madam Speaker.
Senator Dangwa, it is important you use the parliamentary language. When you say bread-based,
you can swallow without eating. You just swallow. Just swallow. Madam Speaker, let me finish. I am a man of few words, Madam Speaker.
Senator Osotsi, you have a point of order?
again.
Yes, Madam Speaker, you know, I really did not want to keep on interrupting my friend Thangwa. But you see, the point of order I raised was on the issue that Raila and Ruto are involved in looting. But he has not responded to that. He has only brought in the issue of broad-based, that some people are in government courtesy of ODM. Let him respond to the specific issue of the looting done by the two. That is the issue I wanted him to respond to.
Senator Karungo, you either substantiate or withdraw that.
Very quickly, I can do that, Madam Speaker. And this will come out clear once the statement that I have be given an opportunity on the floor of the House, because a lot of money was used, Madam Speaker. Kenyan government, even Raila himself, he's on record saying that Kenya and the president, the taxpayers' money was used to campaign for him, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, that money was not budgeted for. We do not have a kitty to campaign for anybody who is running for any seat across the country, Madam Speaker. If that is not looting, I don't know what you would call that, Madam Speaker. So allow me to ask that question that was asked by the Juja MP, Madam Speaker, saying that they used a lot of money. And instead of substantiating, instead of saying we used this amount of money, they arrested him, Madam Speaker. And after arresting him, only to take him to court and produce a charge sheet from what they had arrested him for, Madam Speaker. So you can see they are trying to hide. They don't want Kenyans to know how much money was used. So, Madam Speaker, that one will come out clear when I do that. But let me finish by saying that, Madam Speaker.
Senator Dangwa, you need to table that. Do you have it here with you?
The statement?
Yes.
Yes, I do have the statement. I can send it on WhatsApp. Yes, I can do that. I don't know why, Madam Speaker, you are allowing us to have...
Madam Speaker.
One who raised that issue that you substantiate, so let him finish.
Madam
Speaker,
Speaker,
satisfied with the answer.
Substantiation is not done by way of a request for statement. It is done by way of evidence before the House. So he can have a statement seeking for information. But what we want is substantial evidence to be tabled in this House on how Raila and Ruto have been involved in looting. And Madam Speaker, this is a very substantive issue which you need to respond to.
Senator Karungo.
Maybe we can ask the Senator whether is Ruto looting.
Senator Dangwa, you still have not substantiated that issue. Are you able to present the substantiation? When the House rises again tomorrow, you bring that evidence to substantiate on the looting.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Can there be a point of order as I give the ruling? Let him proceed on his feet. You raise it when he's on his feet. Proceed, Senator Dangwa.
Madam Speaker.
What's your point of order, Senator Methu?
Madam Speaker, I also didn't want to interrupt, but I am standing pursuant to Standing Order 97, and I think I would want to invite you to look at this standing order. I feel that most of us, just as the Deputy Party Leader of ODM actually mentioned, we are misusing Standing Order 105. The Senator has spoken on the same matter, with your permission, thrice. On the same matter of substantiation, he has spoken about it, on it thrice. Our standing orders actually says that nobody should speak on the same matter twice. So how do you keep allowing somebody to keep raising the same standing order, the same point of order on a matter that he has already raised? Why can't somebody consolidate their thoughts and raise them as one standing order or one point of order once? Otherwise, they will keep disrupting people when they are making their contributions. Madam Speaker.
Are you also disrupting by raising that point of order?
I'm not
but
disrupting,
the point
I'm just
is,
inviting you to read
it was an
no
issue
senator
that
can
was
speak more than once to a question. So why is why are you lying? Okay.
Senator Methu, yes. Senator Karungo was requested to substantiate, and this was a request from Senator Osotsi. And Senator Osotsi has to respond whether he's satisfied with the substantiation, and I've given a direction on that matter. No need to further push that matter. Karungo, Senator Karungo, will you bring in the substantiation tomorrow? Proceed, Senator Karungo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think we should also look into that standing order of 105, because sometimes it can be used to suppress what the senators are thinking. And because we are the oversights, Madam Speaker, it is their work to substantiate, Madam Speaker. But nevertheless, as I was saying, Madam Speaker, Kenyans want to know how much money was used. How much? Because the Kenyan coffers, the public coffers, must have used a substantial amount of money to campaign for Raila Odinga. The question is, how much was used, Madam Speaker? I remember when Senator Migori was speaking. He said that he paid the air ticket to Addis Ababa. Madam Speaker, you were very lenient to him when he was told to substantiate. And he said, I can do that tomorrow or whatever time, Madam Speaker. And you know, and I know, members of parliament who have been accused of receiving bribes in toilet of 10,000 shillings, nobody, Madam Speaker, would cough millions, hundreds of thousands, Madam Speaker, to just go and celebrate. It must have come from the public coffers, Madam Speaker. And that's what we are asking. And that's what we are asking, Madam Speaker. We want to know how much. We want to know a breakdown. How much was used on tickets? How much was used in hotels? How much was used to induce others, Madam Speaker? So, you know, it has been said here, Madam Speaker, yes, we are parliament. We are a parliament. We are supposed to be honorable members, Madam Speaker. But some of the things that have been done here, sometimes we question ourselves whether we are that honorable the way we are pretending to be, Madam Speaker.
Senator Hamida, what's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, under point 105, I have my ticket, I have my hotel booking, and everyone does. So seriously, you are the one actually and Eddie has collected all evidence. In fact, that's what he's going to do. But then I feel strongly and pained to be told that I was paid for, or people, it was the government money. We all paid for ourselves, Madam Speaker.
Senator Hamida, that's noted. Senator Eddie was directed by the Speaker to present evidence of those tickets, which I believe you present by tomorrow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Proceed, Senator.
And finally, Madam Speaker, now on a more important angle, Madam Speaker, we, as I was saying, we need to know why we lost, Madam Speaker. And we lost because of 4 things, Madam Speaker. One is the relationship between Kenya and other governments, Madam Speaker. We need to understand that we have to be as diplomatic as possible as a country when it comes to other countries' affairs, Madam Speaker. And I believe Kenya and other countries, and especially SADC, SADC, Madam Speaker, they could have supported us when the Madagascar candidate was eliminated, Madam Speaker. But they didn't. Why? Because, again, for point number 2, the Francophone support, Madam Speaker. Those countries that speak French, Madam Speaker, they went for their candidate. And on a lighter note, the 2 candidates that were running, that is Mohammed Ali Yusuf and Raila Odinga. Mohammed Ali Yusuf could speak English and French, and our candidate could speak English and German, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the last point, the internal issues in Kenya contributed to the downfall of Raila Odinga, Madam Speaker. The internal issues because other countries could not trust Kenya when it comes to fighting for human rights, Madam Speaker. Because of the abductions that are going on in this country, the killings that are going on in this country, and yet nobody is speaking about it. And the Right Honorable Raila Odinga spoke about it the last day of his campaigns when he was being prayed for in Bomas of Kenya. That is the only time he's had in public condemning abductions. I think probably he was told, you have to speak about it, Madam Speaker. So we lost because we could not be trusted to fight for other Africans, Madam Speaker. We have Kizza Besigye, the opposition leader in Uganda. The person who is supposed to represent Africa never even commented about that, Madam Speaker. So we lost because we pretended to be diplomatic. We pretended that we understand the problems of Africa, yet it was a contest for somebody to prove, if I can get Africa, why not Kenya again, Madam Speaker? So Raila was used as a bait by the government. They never wanted him to win, and that's why they did what they did, Madam Speaker. And I'm so sorry, and I say pole to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, that you did not lose because of your person. You did not lose because you didn't have what it takes. You lost because of those who are fronting you, just like you lost in 2022 because of those who are fronting you then. So next time, choose the right people, those people who have the blessings of this country. But next time, I believe if he runs without them, he will make it. I don't know what, but he will make it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Karungu Thangwa. Next is Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me a chance to also make my contribution. Mr. Speaker, just like many Kenyans, I was so deeply disappointed that Kenya lost the quest to take the chairmanship of the African Union. Mr. Speaker, we all know, Mr. Speaker, that Africa belongs to all the 6 or so regions, Mr. Speaker. And as a person who has lived, gone to school, represents a county in East Africa, it could only have been fair that a candidate from East Africa takes over as the next chair of the AU. Mr. Speaker, AU belongs to all the 55 nations of Africa. Therefore, we want to feel a sense of belonging, Mr. Speaker. It's like a father who has many children. All these children need to have a sense of belonging. They need to feel that they are part of a family. So that was a very painful loss, not only for Kenya, but for the regional bloc called East Africa. And Mr. Speaker, if I was a president, this is the time I would have asked my brothers in the East African bloc to walk the talk. Mr. Speaker, I was in State House when President Yoweri Museveni rose and assured us Kenyans that he will be in Addis Ababa to second Raila Amolo Odinga's candidature. But the reports that we received from Addis indicate that Yoweri Museveni did not take time personally to travel to Addis Ababa to not only vote for us, but to also help us in campaigning. Because, Mr. Speaker, it's not easy to convince another president to vote for you. You need to have as many presidents as possible to support your candidature. So I hope that our presidents from the East African bloc will consider whether we will change the idea of leadership within the AU so that it becomes rotational. How come, Mr. Speaker, that in the 23 years that AU has been in existence, the Francophone countries have taken the position of chair for 19 years, and Anglophone only 4 years, Mr. Speaker. And yet, Kenya and other Anglophone countries make their contribution to AU. So, at times, Mr. Speaker, just like the way we do it in IALA, Mr. Speaker, you're privileged to be a lawyer, you know it, that the presidency of the East African Law Society is rotational. If this year the chairmanship goes to Kenya, next year the chairmanship goes to Tanzania, the other year it will go to Uganda. That way, you don't feel the pain of contributing to a body that will never allow you to take a leadership position. We cannot have an association or a union that is supposed to bring all countries together, but others have ganged up to ensure that other regions can never ascend to the chairmanship. Mr. Speaker, because the salary that pays that chair is also my taxes. By being taxed and by my country making a contribution, then I'm also having an expectation that one day, one time, I will proudly stand up and say, a fellow countryman or woman is chairing AU. So, in terms of going forward, I hope when there is a summit of the African Union, our President William Ruto, will put this issue on the table so that we can have, let us have ECOWAS in West Africa, sharing. Next time, let it go to SADC, the way the other time we had South Africa. Then it can go to the COMESA region. Then it comes to East Africa. Senator Methu, we want fairness. The second point I want to make, Mr. Speaker, is that it's not Raila Odinga who lost this election. The person who lost this election is our president and his foreign policy, Mr. Speaker. Because the way we handled this matter, Mr. Speaker, it left us with very little option of winning, Mr. Speaker. Because when you are doing a campaign like this, you must be conscious of the geopolitics, what your actions will mean to the person you want to vote for you, Mr. Speaker. Because even if the way it is said, and I know it's true, that President Tshisekedi is a personal friend of Raila Amolo Odinga, how does he feel, Mr. Speaker, when, again, and I'm using my words very carefully, when it is rumored that somebody has hosted the M23 leadership in Nairobi? Tshisekedi is a human being, Mr. Speaker. He will bolt. How will Kagame feel if the actions of a country that is, fronting a candidate seems to be hostile to the interests of Rwanda or South Africa or Tanzania, Mr. Speaker? I want to appeal to my president, President William Ruto, to talk less, do his foreign policy at times under the carpet, to avoid stepping on so many president's toes, Mr. Speaker, because they are also human beings. Everything that you do here impacts on your relations with another country, either positively or negatively, Mr. Speaker. And I know the PS Foreign Affairs, Singhuei, is a colleague, is a lawyer like me. And I feel so proud, I feel honored when I see a lawyer occupying that position of secretary in the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Mr. Speaker. But I also want to speak to my friend Singhuei to also be very cautious before speaking on a matter that may touch on our relations with other countries, Mr. Speaker. You remember, Mr. Speaker, SADC wrote a letter. P.S. Singhuei responded with a public criticism. That did not augur well with SADC countries, Mr. Speaker. So, really, the best thing they say is that you should learn from your failures. Let's learn from our failures. What happened to us as a country? We should sit down, evaluate, and take some key lessons from what happened, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on Saturday, and God Almighty is my witness, and my pastors in Nyamira are my witness, I told my pastors that instead of going to Addis Ababa, I'll be on my knees in Nyamira, praying for Baba, Kenya's candidate, to win. AU chairmanship in Addis. I was at Mesowa SDA in Ikonge with pastors, and we prayed for Raila Amolo Odinga, Mr. Speaker. Those who chose to accompany him to Addis Ababa, that was good. But how did we conduct ourselves? Mr. Speaker, if you have been a member of Law Society, and I know you have been, and you are a member in good standing, you know what happened when I was the president of Law Society of Kenya. We came up with a very good initiative to open the borders in East Africa so that lawyers in Tanzania can come and practice in Kenya, and lawyers in Kenya can go and practice in Uganda, and vice versa, Mr. Speaker. But when we were making that declaration in Speak Munyonyo Hotel in Uganda, the contingent from Kenya was the largest in that meeting. And they came there loaded, they had money, Mr. Speaker. So they painted Kampala. And you know, when the proposal was put on the table, the Ugandans were like, if this is the way these guys are behaving, even before we open the borders, if we open the borders, they'll take over Uganda. The Tanzanians said, if these guys are allowed to practice in Tanzania, they will take over. And Mr. Speaker, whereas we acted in good faith and opened the borders, we have Ugandans who are practicing in Kenya today, courtesy of that decision. But Uganda and Tanzania have never opened the borders for us because of the way we conducted ourselves. So, Mr. Speaker, at times, the cheering squad, the delegation that accompanied our candidate to Addis Ababa, Mr. Speaker, should have quietly given moral support to our candidate without loading it on the other countries, other presidents, because social media travels faster than even normal news, Mr. Speaker. So next time, let's learn. If it's not a football match, if it's a football match, you show you are mighty and you shout. But if it's something that is diplomatic, Mr. Speaker, let's be sensitive as to how we conduct ourselves. Because our conduct can irritate and annoy people who could have voted for us, Mr. Speaker. The third thing, Mr. Speaker, is our own domestic policy. Because we should speak about this matter very, very candidly, Mr. Speaker. At times, the way we run our domestic policy shapes the perception of our country, other countries about us, Mr. Speaker. So, what has been happening within our borders, we should also go back, look at the mirror, and ask ourselves, out there, how do other countries in Africa look at us as Kenya? How is our human rights record, Mr. Speaker? Have we created a country that has people who are happy? Because, Mr. Speaker, every year you get an index released on the happiest people in the world. Which country? I think currently it is, if I'm not wrong, it's Norway, followed by, I think, Australia and others. So we also need to know, have we created an happy population as a country? Mr. Speaker, when somebody was contributing on this floor here and mentioned Shah, Mr. Speaker, somebody from Nyamira sent me a note. He was given at a hospital called Christine Marian for a patient called Douglas Nyang'au, whom they were trying to admit this afternoon in that hospital. And Mr. Speaker, what he told me is that that hospital told them they don't accept patients to be admitted using that SHA card. That SHA should only be used in public hospitals. Yet, Mr. Speaker, we are priding ourselves as a country that has rolled out universal health coverage for everybody. You know? Another one, Mr. Speaker, sent me a message and said, Senator, remind the president that our people are dying. because the SHA card is not being accepted in private hospitals, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a patient aged 94 years called Martha Nyamwange, I've just been told, was taken to a hospital called Medifort Hospital in Kisii. Mr. Speaker, that hospital, which had no sympathy on this senior citizen, 94-year-old, only accepted coverage on that SHA card on bed only. Then what happens to the medicine, to the surgeon, to the surgical expenses incurred in the hospital? And then we are telling people that SHA is working. It's not right. That's a lie, Mr. Speaker. So let us also look at our domestic issues. How are we treating our people, Mr. Speaker? This SHA thing is a problem, Mr. Speaker. In some counties, like Nyamira, now we are burying people on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We used to do burials only on Friday, Mr. Speaker. We represent our people, Mr. Speaker. We cannot sit here and shut our mouths from some of these issues, Mr. Speaker. And then finally, Mr. Speaker, the impact of Raila's loss in our country here. Mr. Speaker, we should guard our mouths at times. I listened to my good friend, Senator Cherargei. It's unfortunate that he's not here, making statements saying, oh, now that Raila Amolo Odinga has lost the AU chairmanship, we want to offer him position of Prime Minister. Cherargei or Nelson Koech, Mr. Speaker, are not the right people to tell ODM what position to be given. They are not the right people, Mr. Speaker. If the president wants to give former Prime Minister the position of Prime Minister, he should do it in a manner that respects the Constitution first. I sat in NADCO, Mr. Speaker, and we made a recommendation and even gave powers to that office of Prime Minister. If His Excellency the President wants Raila Amolo Odinga to get that position, the right thing to do is to fully implement that NADCO report, not to send junior senators like Senator Cherargei to go and make announcements in the streets, Mr. Speaker. That is not the way you enhance unity in our country. If that position needs to be there, let it be entrenched in the Constitution. Let there be a discussion on who should occupy that seat through party organs, Mr. Speaker, but not through talk shows on TV, making pronouncements through the media. That is demeaning, Mr. Speaker. And it will send the wrong signals, Mr. Speaker, that there is no good faith from our president on this matter that was meant to take Raila to be the chair of AU. Finally, as I finish, Mr. Speaker, I join Ugandans, Mr. Speaker, in making an appeal to President Yoweri Museveni to ensure that Besigye is released from prison, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you read a book called Red Notice, you will think that the episodes captured in that book about the happenings in Russia under Putin are playing out in our neighboring country, Mr. Speaker. We want, within East Africa community, to respect human rights, Mr. Speaker, to show love, to show tolerance, Mr. Speaker, to our opponents, Mr. Speaker. So we urge our senior statesman in the region, President Yoweri Museveni, to have sympathy and a soft heart on that leader of opposition called Besigye. I hope the unfortunate thing will not happen, Mr. Speaker, where Besigye will die because he has not been able to get medical help under the watch of President Yoweri Museveni. With those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Senior Counsel Okongo Mugeni. And as you resume your seat, I wish from the chair to remind you that the NADCO report was presented before the JLAC, which I chair, and we've done a report which is already part of the reports which will be processed in the course of this session. That is something that is already in the order paper for the coming week, I believe. And secondly, you made reference to the Principal Secretary of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Singwei. Yours truly, remember, once worked with him in the law practice, and I can confirm that the accolades you gave to him are the accolades that he exhibited prior to his decision to, of course, resign as he assumed the current public office that he's holding. And so that is a proper presentation of a colleague's professional status. Senator Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The candidature of Right Honorable Raila Odinga presented the country with an opportunity to be at the helm of the leadership of AU. And the benefits of this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, are obvious, and they would have accrued to us as a country, regardless of whether you supported him or not, Mr. Speaker. I am convinced that Kenya presented the best candidate. His public profile, what he stands for in African integration and Pan-Africanism speaks for itself, Mr. Speaker, and to me, it is a missed opportunity for Africa. I want to congratulate Right Honorable Raila Odinga and indeed His Excellency William Samoei Ruto for a spirited campaign done across the country. No efforts were spared, no resources was spared. They met everybody regardless of the stand or in the face of regional politics. They were not intimidated by the narrative. They met everyone that needed to be met. And for that show of togetherness, putting their political differences aside and going for this as a country, I must congratulate them, Mr. Speaker. Winning the first two rounds in the election, Mr. Speaker, is not a small achievement. Garnering 20 votes, 22 votes in the second round is not a small achievement in the face of regional politics that were at play, like I said. And for that, I want to congratulate Raila Odinga again. After the defeat, I happened to be one of the Kenyans who accompanied Raila Odinga to offer moral support. And after the defeat, Raila Odinga and the president gathered Kenyans who were there in a dinner, for a Thanksgiving dinner. And again, in a show of national solidarity, they thanked us. And that spirit of national solidarity is a big win for us as a country. And I want to urge the country that we should build on it in every aspect of our country so that we work together as one. That way it is easier even to disseminate development in every region, in every part of this country, when we are working together. And having said that, finally, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the AUC Chair, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, for his win. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Karen Nyamu. I'm seeing a request from Senator Nderitu Kinywa, who is presently not in the House, and therefore, honorable members, in the absence of any other member keen on contributing to this motion, I'll ask the Senate Majority Leader, who is the mover of the motion, to proceed to reply. Senator Aaron, proceed to reply.
Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate all the senators that have taken time to speak on this very important motion. Initially, when I conceptualized this idea, my desire was that we will take time to reflect as a country and positively evaluate what has been a fairly decent run by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and a very good representation of the country at a global stage. However, Mr. Speaker, to my utter dismay, I have seen a few people try to reduce it to be a contest about what President Ruto got wrong, as if he was on trial, or as if he was the one that was running a campaign. You know, Mr. Speaker, being a politician, I have come to live with the reality that people will always see fault even when there's nothing to fault. And there are people who just for clickbaits and likes on TikTok and Facebook, Mr. Speaker, will say anything, even on topics that they are least prepared about. I listen to many people ignorantly speak about the conflict in DRC and matters on the global stage with very little, limited, scant information, Mr. Speaker, about either the position of Kenya on such matters and how it may have affected voting. I said when I was moving this motion today in the morning, Mr. Speaker, that it will be completely ignorant of anyone to try and first draw a deduction of this run by Prime Minister Raila based on speculations about who may have voted for us or not, for the very simple reason that this was a voting by secret ballot. So by the time you're coming here to tell us, oh, you know, because of DRC, I don't know, because of Sarawi and this other one, we did not get vote from the... Where did you know that those countries voted for us or they didn't vote for us, Mr. Speaker? There are 22 countries that stood firm with Kenya and our candidate for all the 6 rounds, Mr. Speaker. There has been no scientific way of establishing which are those countries, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, you know, you get mesmerized sometimes at the ignorance and the seriousness with which people posit those arguments before the House, Mr. Speaker, thinking that perhaps there's some revelation that they got overnight on who may have cast their vote in support of us or otherwise. Even if it was a trial on our stand on diplomatic issues, Mr. Speaker, I explained here in the morning. The first person to raise that argument was Senator Onyonka. And you know, the record bears me witness. Every time I challenged him, whether it was on the issue of DRC or the issue of Palestine and Gaza, the war in Gaza, Mr. Speaker, he said, let's keep that matter aside. Because I was able to demonstrate to them that the positions they have been arguing in televisions and here in Parliament are nothing but display of pure ignorance. Mr. Speaker, our stand is known on all these things. So I don't know why people want to reduce it to be an evaluation of the performance of the president in the international stage. I don't think there has ever been a president who has profiled Kenya in the international stage the way President William Ruto has been able to do it. Travel with him to international meetings and you'll appreciate what a good job he has been able to do. There is a lot of interest in this country. That's why I asked the other day, and somebody mentioned to me, told me, Senator, we don't understand your country anymore. Because reading online, reading newspapers, Mr. Speaker, listening to some of the senators like the ones that were speaking here, Senator Sifuna and the like, you would think that there is absolutely nothing going on in this country. Yet, investors, people that keep a keen, objective eye on the progress that is being made in Kenya are advising people, Mr. Speaker, that if there is a country to keep an eye on the African continent, it is Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Not one, not twice, not 3 times, Mr. Speaker. Have I seen articles by people who objectively analyze the performance of countries and the things that are being done, both locally and the positioning that has been done of this country in the international stage, Mr. Speaker, that they appreciate that there is progress being made. 2 years ago, Mr. Speaker, we were at a debt distress level. We were basically on the verge, staring at an total economic collapse, Mr. Speaker. The president has been able to move the country from that particular state up to a point now, Mr. Speaker, where we are stable, where we are going to the market, where even global ranking institutions are beginning to paint a positive outlook, Mr. Speaker, of our economy. And you just find people here say, oh, hey, this and that is not right. Mr. Speaker, in fact, it was a mistake. Even on the part, I want to fold the office of a speaker. Mr. Speaker. Because in our standing orders, you cannot discuss the conduct of a friendly head of state without a substantive motion. It's in our standing orders, Mr. Speaker. Yet I have seen people discuss friendly nations and the local matters in that particular country, Mr. Speaker, with wanton recklessness. That should not be the case. Senator Cherargei tried, Mr. Speaker, to bring it to the attention of the Speaker when that matter first showed up this afternoon, when we had the visiting delegation from Uganda, Mr. Speaker. Unfortunately, maybe the way in which he sought the attention of the Speaker was not impressive enough, and the Speaker reserves the right of whether to allow one to make their point or not, but it is not proper. And many senators need to be acquiesced themselves with our standing orders, Mr. Speaker, that do not allow that kind of a behavior, Mr. Speaker. Even this issue that people are talking about of what happened today, that, oh, you are hosting rebels, this or the other. Kenya is a proud member of the international community. Many times, people rush here when their countries are in conflict, Mr. Speaker. The same people that are faulting us and saying, why did you allow Besigye to be picked and they are lifted from Nairobi, today have a problem that part of the faction that is warring in Sudan is here in the country. So which is which? If you want us to lock the country to anybody that is under siege in their own country, Mr. Speaker, then let that be your stand. But you cannot on one hand say that you need to keep this one here, but the other one you need to release. Kenya, over the years, has made significant contribution to regional stability, including almost every other East African country, Mr. Speaker, that every other time they've had conflict, people have negotiated here. I want to believe that part of negotiation, Mr. Speaker, includes allowing the warring parties, Mr. Speaker, to have access to your country. Who says if one of the entities has come and pitched tent here, Mr. Speaker, that we support whatever they are doing? We are a proud member of the international stage, Mr. Speaker, and I know for a fact that when people seek to either congregate here or find a safe haven if they feel unsafe in their country, there are millions of refugees that continue to ply their trade, Mr. Speaker, or make a living in this country as they go about their business. You remember even the issue months ago, where when DRC protested and said, why did you allow so-and-so to speak? Our answer was plain and simple. This is a free country. When people come here, they enjoy the rights. This is a country where you insult even the president. And nobody does anything about you. So it will be very difficult for us to reserve and say only Kenyans are allowed certain rights and foreigners are not permitted of the same, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to request the colleagues that want to do an evaluation of Kenya's performance on the diplomatic stage to perhaps present a substantive motion, come before the Senate Standing Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations, Mr. Speaker, and raise the issue that they have. But to reduce such an important motion, you know, Mr. Speaker, where you find you want to score cheap points and appear as if you're the one who's most knowledgeable, you know, on these matters which you are ill-prepared to comment about, because the things that you're speaking for, if people who understand things better listen to you, they cringe in their seats because they are wondering who elected this one. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with colleagues that there are matters, I said this in the morning when I was moving this motion, that there are things that should divide us. We can surely have difference of opinion when it comes to matters local politics. But when shall we ever grow and mature politically to appreciate that, for example, when a Kenyan shows up at the international stage, Mr. Speaker, then they represent our flag. They represent us as an entire people. If you are not a candidate in that particular exercise, competing with them, Mr. Speaker, then the least that you can do, look away if you don't like that particular person. At least at the very worst, Mr. Speaker, just keep quiet. But if you are a patriot, take time to celebrate them and lend their support, Mr. Speaker. But not to do the kind of things that we saw being done when the Prime Minister was making his run, touring African countries. There are people who posting pictures when President said, oh, today I had dinner with former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga. You go to the comment sections, Kenyans are even more than citizens of that particular country. Stupid tribal politics, Mr. Speaker. Importing it all the way to the international stage. And then you find leaders here in this house trying to justify that, oh, yeah, let people express themselves. Express what? Ignorance. Mr. Speaker, leadership also involves telling people that this is not right, that we don't agree with you in this particular. Why are you a leader then? I thought a leader, part of your duty, is also to show the way in certain matters that you're well prepared for. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate those that understood the spirit of this motion and took their time to critically evaluate and celebrate that a Kenyan, a prominent one, an eminent one at that, Mr. Speaker, gave a good account of himself on the international stage, and now people know better about Kenya and our credentials. I did mention, Mr. Speaker, that it is okay for people to have their opinion. And you know, the most ignorant of the lot, Mr. Speaker, are the ones that have tried to reduce this conversation to be about the evaluation of President William Ruto. He was not a candidate there. Prime Minister Raila Odinga himself said it on that night on the 15th, that there is nothing that the government of Kenya led by President William Ruto stopped at or withheld in terms of support in his candidature. And he said, I appreciate that about this. So who else can come here and tell us, oh, you know, this was not done right, this should have been this way or the other? If the candidate himself appreciates that the country did everything that was humanly possible, and we only ended up losing because elections are what they are. Sometimes people choose not to see or appreciate issues the way you perceive them. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, let it go on record that this House appreciates the decent run, the good presentation at the international stage of this eminent Kenyan, that there are lessons that the country has learned, so that in future, because there will be other Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, who will show up at the international stage looking for employment opportunities, either in global institutions, Mr. Speaker, or even at the UN, Mr. Speaker. And there are things that we can surely do better as a country. I want to appreciate, Mr. Speaker, the supporter of this motion, Senator Moses Kajwang, because it is he who reminded us that with this negative energy, very soon we will transfer it even to matters like sports, things which ordinarily have always united us. That you'll find Harambee Stars playing, and because maybe there's a certain player that you don't like, or this or the other, Mr. Speaker, then you'll find people, you know, either cheering the other country or wishing ill fate on our own team. We must nip it at the bud while it is still early, Mr. Speaker, and be able to tell each other. You know, the other day, Mr. Speaker, we laid to rest celebrated veteran journalist Leonard Mambo Mbotela. It is on such matters that he will ask, Je, hu ni ungwana? Is this really decent of us, Mr. Speaker, to continue to do these kind of things? Therefore, I want to conclude, Mr. Speaker, by expressing the three things that this motion intended to do when we set it out this morning, which is, one, to express the thanks of the Senate to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, to appreciate that he gave a good account of this country, that this Senate notes that despite the fact that he may not have won, Mr. Speaker, that it was not because of anything in his own capacity, but given that this was a competition and there were other judges, Mr. Speaker, that they may have held different views. But as a country, we are proud of him and the work that he was able to do. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, is to record the thanks of this House to His Excellency the President William Ruto for stepping up, Mr. Speaker, and ensuring that a man whom they fiercely competed in the last presidential election and was separated on only by barely 200,000 votes, Mr. Speaker, enjoyed the support and the full backing of the government of Kenya with no restraint, Mr. Speaker. And that is what a decent country should do, because this is an important job. You know, Mr. Speaker, I'm reminded, I saw last weekend another member of parliament from the National Assembly. I don't want to take him seriously anyway. I think he's the MP for Juja or something. I don't want to take him seriously because I read elsewhere, I don't know if it is true, that the only document that gentleman has is a driver's license. Therefore, the kind of things you're saying about, I don't know how much was spent, is expected of such characters, Mr. Speaker. But the point is, Kenya should not have held back.
Leader of Majority,
yes.
I may as well remind you that the said member has since recorded a statement before the police and has been charged before court.
No, today he was charged for forgery, not for the misleading comment.
That we were there with them and we have heard everything that they were saying, sindio?
Yeah.
Nataka nikupe dakika tano, sindio?
People, you have heard, even the MPs know that this is a free country, you know. As that certain MP amesema, this is a country whereby you unaweza to see preso and he will be like it's a free country, you see. And as a country, okay, you should not do that. Well, msiseme niliwaambia mfanye hivyo. Msiseme nilisema mfanye hivyo. Don't even think about it. So, well, the president is my great friend.
Let me read the comments as you do that. Sawa? Sindio? Hizi comments sawa, hata zuma zinafaa kuwa red. Sawa? So kuna Lewis anasema Kim asijui Kim ako wapi though. Sawa? But I'm told by his Diana, so that ako online all the time, so maybe ameshikana mahali, but I'm sure he will be here. Sindio? Naambiwa let's say hire clients. I think kila mtu anakujaga Kenya News Alert anajua clients ni nani.
Kila mtu anajua client ni nani.
If you're a fan of Kenya News Alert, you know who is the client. Hiyo ni inside joke. Sindio? Yeah. Plain Sound Felix and I bet Zulfa game over because I don't know why the game is over. Okay. And then Peter Kimani said at Kim finally client has shown up after Addis holiday. So and the maybe in like 9 months we're gonna see Ondiju. Is it? Ni Ondiju. Was it Ondiju or it was Ondimu? Ondimu.
Wait.
Yeah?
Peter, umesoma hizo comments zote kwanza?
Ndio ngoja. Nasoma, sawa? And then nikamwambia she was there, Nyashin as ever. Akaniambia Zulfa kama kawa. Style yake ya communication, remember. Sawa? The day Kindiki was being sworn in every police officer every police officer was looking at her. Nyashin.
Yani kama kawaida. The normal it is the normal life situation. It is normal.
Nafanyia watu kwa mahali Zanzibari. Sawa?
Zanzibari?
Kwa bahari. Wale tu mademu hata wana shughuli.
Hapana.
Wanapita tu.
Hapana, zenye zimezidi hizi zenye zinafanya mtu mwenye amepiga salute anafanya kidogo hivi.
Let me tell you my dear. Na seti nini? But Nyashet ya Kenya ishindi ya TZ.
Nani mnadanganya? Check you mtu.
Nyash.
Hapana, nyinyi hamjui.
Nyash.
Unajua Zulfa, let me tell you this. Can I tell you? Tunakuanga na tofauti ya oh, sorry, I'm not maybe kupinga just juu ya comparison ya huko na hapa, sawa? Lakini the fact is haujapata time utoke kwa studio utembeange. Sawa? Utaziona my friend zile zenye ziko na nini na mambo mazuri. Anyway, this is my point. Why laughing?
Kwani kuna zingine ziko na mambo mbaya. Kuna zingine ziko na mambo mbaya. Mtu anauliza kuna zingine ziko na mambo mbaya.
Yeah. Haujatoka studio hapo utembee. Sawa?
Nimetembea, I've worked in Kenya. Nimetembea Kenya nikaona Nyash.
But bro, now uski like the deputy president was alikuwa na kwa sworn in. Ndugu hadi unaona polisi amepiga salute lakini kichwa kinaenda bro. Yes. So the neck was necking. The police officer's neck was necking
because the Nyash was nyashing.
No, yeah.
The Nyash was nyashing.
Punguza mambo bro. Punguza mambo bro. So this is a clear indication that everything is possible. Everything is available in the country, right? Everything is available in the country. Ukienda parliament, the senate, right? hauwezi boeka, sawa?
Yeah.
Ukienda sijui ni hauwezi boeka. So Zulfa, please, to see ingekuwa like maybe the Kenya as a country. Zulfa, are you listening to me? Yeah. We were not doing comparison, but I'm reminding you that even the East Africa community knows that the best those aspects could come from this country. That's why you can see some of the musicians from the other country could come for Sidika. So
Sidika I guess in plastic.
Cha kwanza sasa hizo ndio ziko sawa.
Si tunasema natural za natural.
Lakini sasa simulione hizo natural. Wewe tupunguza mambo, simulione hizo natural zenye zilifanya polisi waka lose focus. Hizo nazo zilikuwa za plastic.
Hakuongezaga huyu mdem.
Wacha mambo wewe.
It was all over.
Yeah.
Bro.
Aliongeza na taki akaongeza.
Hiyo ni kumwekelea. Timu wako wapi?
It was there, she even
so bro, nikuulize, according to the bill yenye ilikuwa inapitishwa hapo, and the discussion those people could maybe have there, what did you just hear that you felt that it convinced you?
One thing I know, listening to Parliament making bills, like one of the things that we should be like God. Because they were talking about making bills. Wametoka wakaanza kuongelea freedom of speech. Kama hiyo sijini senator wapi amesema Kenya is the only country that unaweza kuja to see a president and he will do nothing.
But he does something.
But
while listening to these people, you usually get away and far from the main point. Yeah. But nimejua that 1 shilling 1 head is how it should be. The constituents with so many people pia now zipate, and that is how it should be allocated. Yeah. So kila mtu apate ama wasiangalie the nini venye constituents ni kubwa. Mkiangalia venye constituents ni kubwa, you in Kirinyaga where I come from, constituents are very very big with few people. Very small people, like so
there was a consideration they were trying to bring up a consideration whereby they measure the square meters of the constitution. The constituency, I mean.
Yeah.
Mbona si constituency kama funds zinapeana za kutosha ni za kutosha ama
ikiwa kubwa inafaa dividiwe because of the growth of the people, and si kila mtu anaweza pata nini, anaweza pata.
So zikidividiwa funds zitatoka wapi?
From the different zinatoka tu hapo, like hii nyumba to divide, like upate this is kitchen and this one.
Sasa divide si bado inafanana basi.
Yeah, but
inafanana, right?
The one senator or one MP ama one MP awezi do you know how Kitui West, ushisikia Kitui West? Ish.
Nini bana?
That place is big. Hadi MP wako ajio place yote. Ndio maana inataka kudividiwa. That place is big. Kitui itself should be 2 counties.
It is 2 counties.
It is 2 counties. That it is still one.
No.
Who is the governor of Mwingi?
Another woman.
Hapana. Kitui is too big. Kitui is too big. Mwingi is the capital city of Kitui. That it should be divided into 2 counties. And Kitui West is you people. So my point is those zikiwa kubwa zikidividiwa unapatanga that it is the government funds, the CDFs and all that, they are given, unapata kila mtu anapokea anatosheka.
Oh, thank you.
Zikiwa ndogo ndogo watu wanafinywa huko.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sasa nataka niulize Zulfa swali. Zulfa, ulimsikiza bwana anaitwa nani? Nyamu.
Kuna 8 sub counties.
8. Zinafaa zikuwe so.
Zulfa.
Kitui West kidogo, Kitui West, Kitui Central, Kitui Rural, Kitui South, Kitui East, Mwinge North, Mwinge West, Mwinge zenye nyingi sana.
Yeah,
sub counties.
Yeah. Because that place is big. Kai, you can imagine from Machakos to Garissa. Si unajua mali Garissa iko ukiangalia map of Kenya. You can imagine Felix from Machakos mpaka Garissa. Hiyo ni Kitui. From hapa Machakos Masiro dapo. Mpaka uko Garissa. All hiyo ni Kitui. Peke yake.
Then there are Swahili people there.
Yeah.
And Somali population.
Like unapata those people are but it should
now this is what I'm
you're asking me.
Okay. So I was asking you Zulfa, ulimsikia hapo tukisikiza hiyo tukisikiza nini the Senate, right? Ulimsikia Nyamu, what is the first name? Karen. Nyamu, right? Alisema like the Kenya as a country presented the one of the best candidates. And I can make remarks zake zenye zilikuwa very strong. What can you say about that?
About Kenya producing a strong candidate?
Yes. Do you have a say over that? Yeah?
Let me tell you, let us agree to disagree. Yes.
Wanna disagree?
I'm agreeing to disagree.
You are
disagreeing.
You are agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
Your English is Englishing me, so I don't know what you are talking about.
Don't put me in a spot.
Agree to disagree means you agree for the sake of peace.
Yeah.
For the
How?
You agree for the sake of peace.
Yeah. Do you know there are so many there is this friend mwenye tunashindana tukibishania English. Q. The word Q ya laini make a Q. That word Q, you just agree for the sake of peace. What is the use of UE in that word? Pneumonia. What is the use of P? Psalms, what is the use of P?
Those are silent letters.
Yeah. Q, what is the use of UE?
You say Q,
Yeah.
Sawa, unataka pulsams, unaita pneumonia.
Yeah.
You guys stop being funny.
I was trying to show you why sometimes you just agree to disagree.
You just assume.
For the sake of peace.
I'm gonna agree to disagree.
You are agreeing to disagree.
Yes.
Yeah, at least.
So what is your point?
My point is that we had a candidate. The candidate was like he did not meet the qualifications that are needed to become some great person out there. So losing was imminent. It was foreseeable. Yeah. Hiyo ni kitu tulikuwa tunaona. Yeah. And as even at the beginning I told you he's coming back here. He's coming back here empty-handed.
Enormous.
640. So we have a student here. So yes.
Nimetamani ati sign 640.
Yeah, and we have a student here. So if we could wrap up.
Okay. Naomba munipatie instrumento niimbie mtu tukifunga.
Sawa. There is a guitar here. Wacha nikupe for the sake of peace.
Tumalize.
Yeah. Can I hand it over to you? As a way of peace.
No. Tutumie instrumento. Mimi nimesema tutumie instrumento.
What instrument? Oh, you have one.
You know, there is a difference between
instrument.
Instruments and instrumental.
And then use that instrumental. Use it.
I'm requesting you to give me one.
gonna say the
Lewis, will you allow me to sing for someone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kwanza wapi Kim? Alipotea?
Kim
just sing directly. Do not start a lot of stories.
No.
Sing.
No, I want you to give me instrumental.
So I've said use like the word harp.
Yes? Like the one?
You just use any. So you're good at all of them. You just
bro, sikia hiyo chochezi. Please. Badon. Umesema nini?
Ndio huyo Peter. Ndio huyo Kim. Sawa.
Kim amekuja.
Bro.
He comes with the war. Peter tumerudi finally. God have mercy. Why?
Mbona Zulfa anacheka kwenda nyuma? Mbona Zulfa anafanya hivyo? Bro, let me ask you. Unajua Kim amejoin, Zulfa amefanya hivyo.
Because ya zile comebacks nilikuwa napewa. Bado anamuona ananihurumia.
Stop raising that machine.
Please get the camera out of my face.
It is not there. Unasema aje Lewi?
Nasema Zulfa kwa zile anamuona anakumbuka comeback zenye bwanake alipewa. Wacha tu. But ni venye the husband is as arrogant as the
now what is wrong with me smiling? Sababu one of the best people amekuja. Best fans of Kenya News Alert.
Oh, hallelujah.
What is wrong with that?
Hakuna. It is very great. You are smiling. Sasa una smile. Anyway, so yeah.
Angalia vile Zulfa anakaa.
Funny.
What is really going on?
He's not reading the text well.
What is really going on?
Let me assume. Let me just assume.
Zulfa.
We are waiting for you to sing.
You just sing.
Zulfa mbona?
I can net it to Namani. I can be just smiling to more there.
Always smile. Me I didn't
smile too.
Yeah.
Why does it have to really to
Soma comment.
Anasema eti kwani mmetoka shule mapema aje, lakini na Jason wangu naona ameingia. You see? Ametoka mapema, imebidi ameenda amerudi.
Brother, I could not stay away from my wife, to be honest. So it was bad, but
stay away from me.
Yeah.
Obviously, it should be bad.
Yeah, it was bad, but sort the issues. I'm back. Don't worry. For hapa, I've sorted the issues.
Tunamgoja our in-house musician.
Yeah,
aweze kuimbia
kipenzi cha roho.
Mtazamaji.
Sasa?
Yes.
Ninaimba Lewia na rap.
Yes, that's not a rapper. Tunafanyaga hivyo. Tunafanyaga hivyo.
Yeah. Alikuwa wapi? Ile siku alikuwa wapi?
Oh God have mercy.
Ile siku alikuwa wapi?
I've never sang, I've never done anything.
Si alikuwa anatuimbia ile sijui ilikuwa ulikuwa unatuimbia nini? Kenya sijui.
Yeah, that is a song.
Ewe Kenya
I only sing.
Sing.
Okay. Twende.
Instead usinene, there is no need. Huyu anaweza haribu beat yangu.
Nani?
Lewi.
Sawa, hallelujah.
Si eti hallelujah, ungeharibu.
Because mimi sijui kuimba. Like nikiimba hapo inakuanga like wacha tu.
Zulfa,
Yes.
do you have some lyrics?
Sema tu.
Yeah?
Say something malaika wangu, Kenya. All that, you have the lyrics.
Malaika, yes?
Sijui sura ya Kenya, sijui nini, sawa? Upendo, sijui damu, alisema damu ya
Yeah, rangi ya damu
yake. Rangi ya damu yako. All those. Ni kwamba maybe I'm just the dancer, you know. I used to dance for kissy songs. I did that.
Na lewi ajue asijaribu kutamka story ya kufanda harusi yangu na 80k.
Hii iliisha basi.
Thank you. So this is a special dedication, right?
Yes.
You like the beat?
Let me put the sound.
This is a very special dedication to all those people who are open-hearted, beautiful, right? With zero show off, right? Someone wanna say that you can sponsor my wedding, ambayo haiwezekani. Hey, haiwezekani. So bad. So bad.
With the backup singers.
Okay, so bad.
With the backup singers.
So bad.
The backup singers.
So bad.
So when he says so bad, you're like,
So bad.
So
I'm loading the lyrics. So beautiful, so beautiful girl. So beautiful. She wanna be the face of Africa, the real face of Kenya. You have to accept she's the color of my blood. Sometimes I turn so colored.
sometimes it turns so colored.
Sometimes I wonder, yeah, someone can say, we full audacity, yeah, yeah. How can we fund my wedding with only 80k? So painful, young man, please keep quiet, don't let me beat down by sounding so funny when I'm singing for her. Yeah.
Yeah. Felix.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Lyrics zimepotea.
Why though? So beautiful. Endelea baba. So beautiful. Woo! How can you endorse you?
It's okay. Sometimes I feel so lonely when someone can come with an audacity of funding my wedding with 80K. That is so shameful to you, boy. Go and take on your intentions, young boy. Nitakuitia William Ruto na vijana wa Subaru. Bro, utapata uko na kwa shida. So, don't let me down, bro. Don't try to insult me. I'll cane you, bro. I'll cane you, bro. Wende shule usome 1, 2, 3. Ujue vile unajua bro, ake walai nikikumbuka 80K. Gai.
Anakaa kwenye kona.
Gai.
Anafikiria story. Anauliza, huyu kijana amenionaje?
Gai.
Chorus nini?
Chorus ndio hii. Chorus ndio hii. I love you, my princess. You are the color of my blood, the real face of this country and Africa. Aya, twende. Unakumbuka the lyrics?
No.
Sema hivi. You are the princess. Sema.
You are the princess.
Sema. You are the princess.
You are the princess.
The color of my blood.
Ooh, the color of his blood.
You are the color of my blood. So wherever that person is, amejua that she is the color of my blood, and she will never be brought down. Kudidimishwa na vitu zenye zinakaa 80K ya harusi. Sasa the best thing leo is unafaa kufanya, nataka uende uingie kwa neti. Ukiingia kwa neti uniambie the reason why somebody anafaa ku avoid kitu inaitwa mtu anafaa ku avoid kitu inaitwa imagination, too much imagination.
No, you shouldn't. Imagination is what you do, actually. Imagination gave us what?
Utamalizia ku hallucinate.
Gave us what? The Transformers.
Yeah,
Transformers. Gave us the DC one.
Cheki.
Yes?
Mtu anafaa ku avoid too much imagination. Italeta hallucination.
Wait. You are my princess.
Aya, maliza live. Mimi nimeshindwa kuimba.
Why?
Well, like you people, the next time you want to give it to me,
You are his princess.
already one is going to skin me alive and drag me. Because I could be a good defend.
Let me tell you at this point, you defend yourself. Yeah. Sasa, sababu shafika mpaka saa 1, sijapeleka huyu mtoto ajengia nyumbani kwao. Sawa? This child that was here mwana dunga, wajua umeshakwambia.
I was promising you heaven and earth.
Nikifika hiyo sijui nini nafanya, kumbe. What are you saying? Say your name. Sawa?
Yeah.
Sema nyumbani kwetu.
People, mimi hapa right now itabidi sasa nibebwe na mgongo. Nimecheka, nguvu imeisha. My names are Lewis Philip. It's always nice to be here with you. Tomorrow niko 50-50. If I will not be skinned alive by that queen, tomorrow we'll be here. I'll go and give her some excuses and some good remarks. Anapenda maneno matamu. Every mother loves that.
Yes.
Hiyo wangu anayapenda. Ukimwambia how good her cooking is, how gorgeous she looks, she does not even look old. Hey, She can even give you a cup.
Umefanya, unajua bro, ukiongea hivi umefanya lyrics zimekuja kali sana, lakini sasa lakini sasa sijui what I can say, what I can do.
No, say
it.
I compliment you.
Wallahi. Rafiki yangu amenipigia, amenitext hapa akinicheka akiniambia, bro leo umeniangusha hujaimba.
Yes.
Nini mmetulia hivyo?
Usituende, tunangoja uimbe.
You are his princess.
You are the love of
You are the love.
Mbona mmetulia hivyo?
Sisi.
See, we're waiting for you to tumalize show.
Okay, wacha nimalize kujiintroduce. I am the Grand Duke Lewis Philip in Scotland.
Tumalize, sawa? Our in-house lawyer, amesema, in a man's sexual life, you must understand that, you must understand this. Anaenda mshike mikono. Mshike vidole. Mshike vidole vizuri. Muhesabu.
Ya wanza.
Okay? So one. Not every woman deserves access to you. That is common sense.
Yeah.
Two,
Yeah.
your energy is worth more than a quick release.
Definitely.
Yes. Discipline separates kings from
the weak.
Yes.
Definitely.
The wise have spoken. Hi. Do you share?
Yeah. Are you going to sing?
You want me to sing?
Yeah, we want you to sing.
Okay. So Zulfa, you want me to sing?
Okay, but it is almost a moja. Mimi nikienda kunyongwa nitakuwa pekee.
Kwani unanidea? Acha kwanza kunitamkia manini. Unanidea?
Where?
See, we have told you to sing in the...
It's late for real.
Yeah. I'm not daring.
First of all, my dad was like, beach. Oh,
it's a word.
It's a word. So you're not married. I don't know any person here, so you come home early.
Yeah.
So that I have to go early.
Definitely, yeah.
Very early. Where you have to go to school.
Well,
so Felix yeye anaenda kwake. Unaona? Wengine tuelekea kwa nyumbani. Unafika unaambiwa sema hapo kwa gate kidogo ufikirie. What are you doing? Who are you? Babako ameshinga kwa nyumba, wewe unakuja kwa nyumba sasa.
Unakuja
Who are you the man? Are you the woman of this house?
Wacha tu.
Hebu maliza history niende.
Thank you so much. This is plain son Felix. By the way, at some point I asked myself tukimalizia like why at some point we really need at some point to do what, to relieve yourself from maybe strains and other things. It is because you can take moment to interact with your friends in a good way, and at some point you be free, right, with your friends, and at some point you do what, you try to make fun, right? That's why at some point tukikaribia kumalizia show unapata hainakuja naturally, but thank you so much guys for joining us. Wacha tukutane saa 2 asubuhi, asubuhi saa 2, and if possible isikuange like sisi pekee ndio tunaongea kutoka studio, sivyo? Wacha kila mtu afanye nini, wacha kila mtu ajaribu ku contribute. Ukiwa hapo tu hapo nje kuna namba hapo, wewe unapiga tu simu hata bure, at least una share your view. Ama ni aje Zulfa?
It is true sir.
Yes.
I keep on insisting that number haijawekwa tu pale. Just muione hapo. That number is us giving access to our studios for you to be able to communicate with us, for you to be able kutoa maoni yako live. Mambo hapa ni live. And I hope that the boys, the men in this forum, wameweza kumsikiza bwana wakili pale, sawa? I'm sure habongi tu hivyo just to speak, sawa? So you do what? Not everyone deserves access to you. Your energy is worth more than a quick release. Discipline separates things from the weak.
Yeah.
So yes, Mambo, that is that. You said your name, sindio?
Yeah.
Okay, sawa. Kwa majina, naitwa Zulfa, sawa?
What is
Yes. Malizia.
Sawa? So I'd meet you to Germany, Friday, Kombali. Oh, Peter said somewhere then we forgot to name. So he said that I knew it would require next row. Naughty. So
you naughty boy.
Very naughty.
You naughty boy.
Yeah. So the thing is, tukutane kesho hapa majaliwa, sawa? We just say to these things inshallah.
Yeah.
Sawa?